सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं परमानन्दमाधवम्। सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्त गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। हरि ओम्। We had completed the first important topic in any Vedantic text, and that is Adhikari Nirnaya, the elaboration on who is an eligible student. So, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji defined all the 4 qualifications that are necessary for a seeker. Sadhana Chatushtaya was explained. Now we move to the second main topic, that is Guru Upasadanam. Means what? Approaching a teacher, right? And that was the topic that we started in the last session from verse number 32, where he introduced that topic. He said, Ukta sadhana sampannaha tattva jitnyasuhu atmanah tattva jitnyasu upasidet gurum pradnyam yasmad bandha vimokshanam. Such a person who is eligible now, endowed with this sadhana chatushtaya, should approach a teacher. Pradnyam gurum upasidet. A teacher who is knowledgeable, who has got the experience of the Brahman, should approach such a teacher, by which he will be released from the samsara, bondage of samsara. Now, who is a guru? That was explained in verse number 33. 8 qualities of guru were mentioned. Shrotriyaha, well versed in scriptures. Avrajinaha, sinless. Akamahataha, not afflicted by desire. Brahmavittamaha, best among the knowers of Brahman. Brahmani uparataha, one who is immersed in Brahman. Sthitaprajnaha. Shantaha, absolutely calm. Like what? Nirindhana iva analaha, like the fire which has become calm when the fuel is gone. Like that, absolutely peaceful, calm. Ahetuka daya sindhuhu, and ocean of causeless compassion. This ahetuka word is very important here. We have seen last time also. There is not a reason for which the guru has compassion towards the students. Actually speaking, we should reflect and see whether we are really eligible for such kind of compassion, and most of the times we will find that we are not eligible. But it's only because of their nature, it's because of their grace that they have this causeless compassion for which we are getting the grace, not because we deserve it. Right? Ahetuka daya sindhuhu. And then what? Anamatam satam bandhuhu. Bandhuhu is like a close relative, is like a friend for whom anamatam satam, for those noble people who have surrendered unto him. So Shankaracharya just explained the qualities of a guru and then continued in the next verse. He says, Tam gurum bhaktya aradhya. To such a guru, what the seeker should do? Bhaktya aradhya. Aradhya, worshipping, having worshipped. Having worshipped such a guru with devotion. And how should that be? Prahva prashraya sevanaihi. With humility, with dedication and with service. So this actually tells us how we should serve the teacher. Why? Because that service to the teacher, service to the guru tunes our mind, the student's mind with the teacher. So that when the teaching starts, we are already in line with the thoughts. And the moment teacher tells, we get the knowledge. If you see in Bhagavad Gita also, Bhagavan Shri Krishna explains, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. There also he gives 3 steps. He says, Tadvidhi, please know what should be the step? Pranipatena. First you should approach, surrender and prostrate. Prostrate means have no ego that you are, such a great person. No. Now you have come as a student, be with that humility, attitude of humility. Pranipatena. Pariprashnena sevaya. Then service you should do so that you are in tune with, and then pariprashna, then ask the right question. This is what Bhagavan Shri Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita. So similarly here what is said, Tam gurum bhaktya aradhya prabha prashraya sevanaihi aradhya. Having served that guru with devotion, what one should do? Tam prasannam anuprapya. Then finding the teacher is pleased with you. When will be the teacher pleased? When the student is ready for the knowledge, teacher will be pleased. So even now, please remember, what are we doing? Don't think that sadhana chatushtaya is over. Even when now we are serving the guru, what we are doing, we are increasing our sadhana chatushtaya so that we become more and more eligible. And then, when the guru finds that now we are ready, he becomes pleased. Then what you should do? Priched jnatavyam atmanaha. Atmanaha jnatavyam priched. Ask the question that will satisfy your desire to know the self. Don't ask some stupid question. Ask pertinent question. Okay, that is the procedure that is given. We saw how in Prashnopanishad also, similar thing is there. 6 students are approaching the teacher. The teacher says, first serve in the ashram. So that you are, see, it is one thing to say that, oh, but why 1 year of service is required, I ask, you answer, topic close. No, it is not that easy. In spiritual knowledge, it is not that easy. It is easily possible for the teacher to answer, but it is also important that student must understand the answer. For the student to understand the answer, that much of seva is required, because that will bring the required purity of mind, concentration of intellect, so that when the answer is given, it is grasped. I was mentioning another verse which explains very beautifully the entire step of Guru Upasadana. This verse is, this mantra is from Mundakopanishad. Mundakopanishad, first chapter itself, it is said, Pariksha lokan karmachitan brahmanaha nirvedamayat nastya kritah kratena tad vidnyanartham sa gurumeva abhigachet samitpanihi shrotriyam brahmanishtham. Entire step of Guru Upasadana is explained in this. What is said? Pariksha lokan karmachitan brahmanaha, that person, that noble person, having examined the world correctly. examined the world correctly, Viveka. That is the step of Viveka. Okay. Nirvedam ayat. And having got Nirvedam. Nirvedam means Vairagyam. And having got the dispassion. So Viveka and Vairagya indicates having got the sadhana chatushtaya. And what is his understanding? Na asti akritah kritena. What I want to achieve will not be achieved by doing more of the same thing. Then what? Tad vijnanartham. To gain that knowledge, the self-knowledge, saha, such a student, gurumeva abhigachet, should approach a teacher. Samit panihi. How should the student approach the teacher? Samit panihi. Pani means hand. Samit means those wooden sticks that are offered in the homa, havana, etc. So taking those wooden sticks in hand should approach. That was our tradition. What it means is, in those days, the gurus, the teachers, etc. used to have ashrams where continuously homa, havan, etc. will happen. So for that, whatever is required, the student will, from leaving from the home till the time he is going to the ashram of the guru, he will collect all these sticks and then approach with an attitude saying that, okay, now I am giving this to you, please give me any work which is required for the ashram, I will do. With that kind of attitude, Samit Panihi. And what kind of guru? Shrotriyam Brahmanishtham Gurum Saha Abhigachet. He should approach a teacher who is Shrotriya and Brahmanishta, who is well versed in the scriptures and established in Brahman. So this is what the Upanishads also tell us. And that is what is now Shankaracharya ji demonstrating to us. But how does he do it? In his own style. Shankaracharya ji is now creating a complete scene in front of us. As I told you last time also, this is one of the best section of poetry you will see from Shankaracharya ji. So, what is the scene? The scene is that the student has approached the teacher. And then the student starts to explain what he wants to say. So, we saw one verse last time where the student says, Shishya says, Swamin namaste nataloka bandho karunya sindho patitam bhavabdho mamuddharatmiya kataksha drishtya rajvyati karunya sudhapi vrishtya. Very beautiful verse. It says, Swamin, O Lord, namaste. I prostrate unto you. See, tadvidhi pranipatina. Starts with pranipata, starts with prostration. Nataloka bandho. Who are you? Oh Guru, you are bandhu, you are a friend of Nataloka, of all those who surrender. See, when we study different texts, many times in Vedanta, I am sure all of you also, many of you would have studied so many texts. Sometimes we think that we have become stagnant. I am not getting any new knowledge. Sometimes it is a nice exercise to do a cross-referencing and comparative study. And you will find very, very interesting things. Now, you see, now we are doing Bhagavad Gita is also in front of us, and therefore we say Tadvidhi Pranipatena is said in Bhagavad Gita, and now here Shankaracharya is demonstrating that. Now remember, there also if you see, Arjuna had surrendered unto Sri Krishna saying that I am your Shishya. Then only Bhagavan started giving knowledge. Shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapanna. And when he accepted Bhagavan Sri Krishna as his guru and said that I am your student, Sri Krishna reciprocated by saying, you are my dear friend. You see number of places in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says, Surud. He says, Arjuna, you are a very interesting combination. You are my student as well as my friend. Nataloka bandho. You are friends. And this also tells us one more important thing. You see, when we approach the Guru and surrender unto Guru, the Guru may behave with us as though he is our very close friend. Why? So that we open up to the Guru. So that we don't keep anything hiding from the Guru. Anyways, nothing remains hidden from the Guru. But so that we become open. But we must understand that we should never become friendly with Guru. Guru may become friendly with us. That is to give us the freedom to open up and speak. But we should not behave like that. Ah, Guru, what's up? All okay today? How are you? Did you eat? Don't. They may do it because it is required from their side. Yeah. But we have to pay attention and we have to make sure that we have only that feeling of utmost respect and love towards the Guru. Okay. So, Nataloka Bandho, Karunya Sindho. Oh, you are the ocean of compassion. And what is my state? Bhavabdho patitam, patitam bhavabdho. And I am fallen in another ocean. You are ocean of compassion, but I am fallen into the ocean of this samsara. Therefore, such me, who is fallen into this ocean of samsara, mam uddhara. Please uplift me. Please save me. Oh, too much of work. Why should I save you? No work. Atmiya kataksha drishtya. Aksha means eye. Kata means end of the eye. From the corner of your eye you look at me. That is sufficient. Gurudev will, Chinmayananji, when he is explaining these verses, he also will be in full form. And he will say that just when you don't even move your head, you just look at me from the corner of your eyes and I will hold on to that glance and come out of the ocean of samsara. Mamuddhara atmiya, your kataksha drishtya, with your side glance. Which is how? Rajvya. Which is very effortless side glance. It is not that you will have to do lot of effort. No. Rajvya. But how is it? Atikarunya sudha vivrishtya. But that side glance is like the shower. Like the shower of nectar. Of extreme compassion. Atikarunya. Atikarunya sudha vivrishtya rajvya atmiya kataksha drishtya mamuddhara. Oh Guru, please save me from this. Okay, fine. We have heard in the Upanishads, etc. Generally, when the student approaches, you have to serve. Student says, please don't make me do like Prashnopanishad. Don't make me go and, work for 1 year. Why? Because I am in a deadly situation. I am not comfortable at all. So now, the student shows the urgency. Let us read verse number 36. Durvara samsara davagni taptam dodhuyamanam duradrishtavatai bhitam prapannam paripahi mrityoh Sharanyamanyad yadaham na jane. Durvara samsara davagni taptam dodhuyamanam duradrishtavatai bhitam prapannam paripahi mrityoh Sharanyamanyad yadaham na jane. Anybody who has listened to Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayananji's videos on Viveka Chudamani will never forget this verse. Why? Because the Amma who is chanting verses for Pujya Gurudev, this actually is not in a different meter. If you see the previous verse, Swamin Namaste Nataloka Bandho, same meter. Durvara samsara davagni taptam dodhuyamanam duradrishtavatai. So that Amma chanted in that same tune, and Guruji said, listen to what the student is saying. What is the student saying? Durvara samsara davagni taptam. Taptam means he is being burnt. He is being burnt in what? Dava Agni. Dava Agni means forest fire. Agni means fire. Dava means forest. Davagni means forest fire. What is the forest fire? The forest fire of samsara. And how it is? Durvara. Durvara means difficult to remove. So the student is saying that I am being scorched in this, I am being burnt in this forest fire of samsara, which is very difficult to remove. Now this will the student say in such tune, Durvara samsara davagni taptam. No! And then Gurudev makes that Amma chant like this. Durvara samsara davagni taptam dodu yamanam duradrishtavad. Chant like that because the student is saying. That's why I also changed the tune, remembering Pujya Gurudev. So what is the student saying? That, oh Guru, I am being burnt in this forest fire. See, we hardly would have encountered forest fire, etc., such things. But we have heard. The forest fire, when it happens with all around, there is fire and you are caught up in that. And forest is not a small area of trees, no? Huge. And everywhere it catches fire, then you can't go anywhere. Durvara samsara davagni tapta. And in that also what is happening? Dodhuyamanam. I am being shaken up. By what? Duradrishta vataihi. Vataihi, by the winds. What kind of winds? Dur adrishta. Dur means bad and adrishta means unseen. So generally in Vedanta, adrishta is the word used for punya and papa. Isn't it? Drishta phala and adrishta phala. What you don't see. You don't know what punya papa is there in your account. Only when it comes in your life as sukha and dukkha, you see it. So punya and papa is called as adrishta, unseen. Whereas dur means bad. So bad adrishta means papa. So what is the simile, what is the metaphor now being used? That number one, I am caught up in this forest fire, which is that of samsara, which is very difficult to remove. And on top of that, there are these winds which are increasing the fire. See, generally, the wind will remove the fire, isn't it? Suppose there is a fire and then you put strong wind, it will blow off the fire. But that doesn't happen in forest fire. Forest fire is so big that wind comes, it increases, it blazes further. So he says, in my life also what is happening? Already I am in samsara. On top of that, the papa that I have done is increasing my suffering. It is like those winds that increase the forest fire. So, dodhuyamanam duradrishtavataihi. Bhitam, I am afraid, I am frightened. Prapannam, and I am surrendering unto you. Paripahi mrityoho. Mrityoho paripahi. Please save me from this death. What is death? Samsara is the death. So please save me from this samsara. Why? Why are you coming here? Sharanyam anyat yadaham na jane. Because I don't know any other place where I can go and surrender. Anyat sharanyam, other place of surrender, refuge, yat aham na jane, I do not know. Okay. So, Durvara samsara davagni taptam dodhuyamanam duradrishtavataihi bhitam prapannam paripahi mrityo sharanyamanyat yadaham na jane. Therefore, O Guru, please don't tell me that, slowly I will answer all your questions. Slowly I will take you out of the samsara. No, don't know slowly. Why? Because I am being burnt. What it also indicates is, if that kind of strong desire we have for liberation, then the knowledge will come immediately. See, most of the times we only postpone. Isn't it? Suppose I tell you one Sunday, no Vivek Chudamani class for next Sunday. I am not announcing anything, I am just giving example, okay? Suppose I tell you that there is no Vivek Chudamani class for next Sunday. One Sunday I can relax. Thank you, Swamiji. Isn't it? In class, in school also, we were like that only. When they will give us off period, we will be very happy. We will enjoy. Now also Vedanta class, when the teacher gives off period, why? Because we don't feel that urgency. Now here what is happening? The student is feeling that urgency, that I cannot delay any further. Why? I am caught up in this forest fire. So that is the actually meaning of this entire metaphor. Okay, and also remember, it has a slight connection with the previous verse also. The side glance of Guru was called as Ati Karunya Sudhabhivrishti, the shower of nectar of infinite compassion, isn't it? Extreme compassion. Now remember, that is the solution for this forest fire. When you are caught up in forest fire, what can save you? Only the heavy shower can save you. And that is equated with the glance of a Guru. Okay. So metaphor is still continuing if you see carefully. Okay. And now 2 verses he will take to explain something, and then again he will come back to the explanation of that metaphor. Okay. So now what Shankaracharya is saying, see, the student has approached, the teacher has prostrated to the teacher and said that please save me. And then he has also explained to the Guru, to the teacher, what is his state, that he is very much struggling in samsara. Also please note, he is asking for removal of samsara. He is not asking for any other solution. He is not saying that, Swamiji, my life, my wife is such a big problem, and my husband, what to tell Swamiji, you do something. No. He is not asking for one problem in life. He is asking for the problem in life to be removed. That is the ignorance because of which this samsara exists. So he is not asking for any worldly knowledge or any worldly solution. He is asking for the spiritual solution. Mrityoho paripahi, please save me from death. Death means what? Samsara. Please save me from this samsara. That is what he is asking. Now, the student now glorifies the saints and the sages like the Guru. Very beautiful verse. Let us see that. Please repeat verse number 37. Shanta mahanto nivasanti santah. Vasantavalokahitam charantah. Tirna swayam bhima bhavarnavam janan. Ahetu nanyana pitarayantah. Shanta mahanto nivasanti santah. Vasantavalokahitam charantah. Tirna swayam bhima bhavarnavam janan. Ahetu nanyana pitarayantah. Very beautiful. He says, how are these great saints? The Guru, you are like that Mahatma, great person. How are these people? Shantaha. They are extremely calm and peaceful. The moment we listen to such description of Mahatmas, I am sure whichever Mahatma you have met will come in front of your eyes. And that should happen. Okay? Why? Because they are the living proof of this entire knowledge. Shantaha. Extremely peaceful. They are so peaceful that even we who are totally disturbed, be in contact with them for some time, we feel peaceful. Even the place that they stay in becomes peaceful, that when anybody comes to that place, they feel, oh my God, this is such a serene place. We say in India we have so many Tirtha Kshetras, pilgrim places, holy places we say, no? What makes those Tirtha Kshetras? Narad Bhakti Sutra says that it is these saints who live there. Tirthi kurvanti tirthani. They purify that place. They make that holy place holy. Why? Because they stay there. Their mere presence brings entire place into a very calm and serene place. Shanta. Mahantah, plural is used. So he is not just describing Guru, but he is describing all the Mahatmas who are like his Guru. Shantaha. Mahantah. Mahantah means large-hearted. Large-hearted means not judgmental, not judging anybody. They accept everybody. Mahantah. Santaha. Santaha means noble, good. Nivasanti. They stay. So what is the point he is saying? Shantaha, Mahantaha, Santaha, Nivasanti. They stay. They stay where? Everywhere. At all times there are Mahatmas around us. Nivasanti. And what? Vasantavat. Lokahitam charantaha. Charantaha means they move about. They go about. They go about what? Lokahitam charantaha. They go about for the benefit of all beings. Like what? Vasantavat. Very beautiful comparison, very beautiful simile. Vasantavat, like spring. Like spring season. Like spring season means what? See, when the spring season comes, the entire atmosphere changes automatically. It is not that the spring season is actually bringing about change. A poetical way we can say that when that Vasanta comes, you know, every tree, etc., the Vasanta goes to the every tree and says that now you get up, now you bloom again. So the old leaves are, you know, gone and the new beautiful green leaves come. We can say poetically that the Vasanta is bringing all this change. But actually what is happening? Vasanta is coming and change is happening automatically. Like that, these Mahatmas, they just roam about and the Lokahita happens automatically. Lokahita benefit, people get benefited automatically. It's not that he has to put any efforts. They are like that spring. They distribute joy, comfort, support, freshness, life, everywhere, wherever they go. Wherever they are going, they bring this change. They bring the beauty to life. Vasantavallokahitam charanta. And what is the speciality of these Mahatmas? He says, Bhima Bhavarnavam Swayam Tirnaha. Bhima means great, huge. Bhava means samsara. Arnavam means ocean. So, Swayam, they themselves, Tirnaha, they have crossed. What have they crossed? This great, huge ocean of samsara, they have crossed. Okay, so they have reached the other shore of self-realization. But what do? Ahetuna anyanjananapi tarayantaha. Having crossed this ocean of samsara, they come back into it. Why? To help other people cross over. Anyanjanan, other people, tarayantaha, they are crossing them over. How? Why? Ahetuna, without any cause. So they themselves have crossed over the ocean of samsara, but they come back again to help all of us. That's why they are Mahan. They are Mahan people. Mahanta. Shantaha, Mahanta. Okay. You just think about it, no? We are so fed up of this samsara and we never want to get into it again. But these realized masters, having gone through such a difficult sadhana and actually having gained that peace of mind, they come back again to our level and discuss our problems, not for them but for us. The other day we were seeing that example, no? That Guru is like that mother, taken bath and fresh, but still when the child who is totally dirty also comes, she hugs. So Guru is also like that. These Mahatmas are like that. They themselves have crossed over. They can easily stay. See, Gurudev Swami Chinmayanand could have easily stayed in Himalayas for rest of his life. After attaining, he could have stayed there. No. He came to the plains. Why? To help us. If not for him, we would have never gotten this knowledge. Shankaracharya's so many beautiful texts, we would have never known. How many of us are actually strong enough to leave everything and go to the Himalayas and study? See, it is because of such Mahatmas like Shankaracharya, like Gurudev, who brought this knowledge to our doorstep. And now it is even more, not only to our doorstep, on our table. We are not even going outside our home. Not required. Why? It is right here. That's the greatness of these Mahatmas. That they themselves crossed over, but they again came into this for what? For helping all of us to cross over. Once, somebody asked Gurudev, Swami Chinmayanand, that Swamiji, have you realized? Have you realized? So Gurudev said, his style was, very different only. So there were other people also sitting, and the person who asked, just little bit he turned towards him and said, don't tell anybody. What? I am just at the doorstep. I am just at the doorstep of realization, waiting for you all so that we can enter together. See, look at that. Fact. Ahetuka daya sindhu. Ahetuna, for no reason, without any cause, anyanapi janantarayantaha. They are the ones who are saving other people also. That's the greatness of these Mahatmas. And this is not something which is very different for them. Why? Because this is their swabhava, this is their nature. That's what the student is saying now in the next verse, and gives a very beautiful example. Let us see verse number 38. Ayam swabhava swata eva yat para Shramapanoda pravanam mahatmanam Sudham Shuresha Swayamarka Karkasha Prabhabhitaptamavati kshitim kila. Actually, both lines we should not break. For chanting purpose we are breaking, but it is one word. Ayam swabhava swata eva yat parashrama pravanam mahatmanam Sudham Shureshas Swayamarka Karkasha Prabhabhitaptamavati kshitim kila. The student is saying, still glorifying the Mahatmas, he says, Ayam Swabhavaha Swata Mahatmanam Ayam Swabhavaha. This nature of these great people, these great sages, saints, Swata eva is natural. What is natural to them? Yet that which is Parashrama Apanoda Pravanam. Pravanam means they are expert. They have the capacity and skill for what? Apanoda means to remove, Nivarana. To remove what? Parashrama, difficulties of others. Para means others, Shrama means difficulties. So they remove the difficulties of others. This is their nature. Mahatmanam ayam swabhavaha. This is the nature of the Mahatmas, that wherever they go, they remove the difficulties of all the people. From this, what becomes clear? Duratmanam Swabhava becomes clear. What is the nature of wicked people? They add on to the difficulties of all others. Now what we have to do? We have to reflect in our life and see, for all the people around us, are we adding to their troubles or are we removing their troubles? For Mahatmas, how it happens? It happens naturally. They don't have to do anything. Automatically, the people around them, they find that all their difficulties are gone. Parashrama apanoda pravanam iti swabhavaha eva. Swata eva swabhava. This is their nature. To explain this point, he gives an example. I told you Shankaracharya is in full mood of poetry. What is he saying? He says, Sudhamshuhu eshaha. Eshaha Sudhamshuhu. Sudhamshuhu means what? Sudhamshuhu means moon. Sudhamshu is name of the moon. Means what? Sudha. Sudha means nectar. Amshu. Amshu means rays. That which has nectarine rays. Means what? That which has got very cooling rays. Sudha iva amshuniyasya. One whose rays are very cool. That moon, Swayam Arka Karkasha Prabhabhi Taptam Kshitim. Avati Kila. That's how we have to understand the word. Kshitim. Kshitim means the earth. And how is the earth? Abhitaptam. It is extremely heated. Scorchy heated. Because of what? Karkasha Prabha. By Karkasha. Karkasha means very terrible. Prabha. Light. Of what? Arka. Arka. Arka means sun. So, Arka Karkasha Prabha Abhitaptam Kshitim. This earth which is very much heated by the hot and terrible rays of the sun, Swayam Sudhamshuhu Avati Kila. Kila means, Kila is like asking question, isn't it? What? This moon at the night time automatically Avati. Avati means actually protects. Protects means what? Cools down that earth. So the earth that is being heated whole day because of the midsummer sun cools down because of the moon. And it is not that moon is doing anything specially for it. Its mere presence brings that coolness to the earth. Just like that, Ayam Swabhavaha Mahatmanam. It is the nature of Mahatmas that when they are there, Parashrama Apanoda. They remove the difficulties of other people. So people who have been scorching because of the samsara, they become cool down. Their problems are reduced. They find solace, peace because of these Mahatmas. Their mere presence, it is not that they are putting some efforts for that. No, I am Swabhavaha. Okay, so this is how the student is telling the teacher how it is your Swabhava. You are one of such Mahatmas and you are Vasantavallokahitam Charantaha. You are like that spring. Wherever you go, you bring that beauty into the world, that calmness and peace into the world. So it is your nature. So what? So little bit of that, please direct it towards me also. That is what student is saying. He continues. Next verse, very, very, very beautiful verse. Poetically, you will not find many better verses than this. Verse number 39. Worth memorizing. Those people who are marking the important verses to memorize, worth memorizing. Changes the meter also. You will see so far it was still different meter, not our usual Anushtup meter was going on. It was still different meter, now even longer meter. Let us see. Shardula Vikriditam. Let us see. Verse number 39. ब्रह्मानन्दरसानुभूतिकलितैः पूतैः सुशीतैर्युतैः युष्मद्वाक्कलशोज्झितैः श्रुतिसुखैः वाक्यामृतैः सेचय संतप्तं भवतापदावदहन ज्वालाभिरेनं प्रभो धन्यास्ते भवदीक्षणक्षणगतेः पात्रीकृता स्वीकृताः ब्रह्मानन्दरसानुभूतिकलितैः पूतैः सुशीतैर्युतैः युष्मद्वाक्कलशोज्झितैः श्रुतिसुखैः वाक्यामृतैः सेचय संतप्तं भवतापदावदहनज्वालाभिरेनं प्रभो धन्यास्ते भवदीक्षणक्षणगतेः पात्रीकृता स्वीकृताः. Very beautiful. He says, to understand carefully, okay? Each word, where it is connected, what is the meaning, carefully you have to understand. See the last line of the last word of the first line. Sechaya. Can you see that? Sechaya. First line means first complete line, till the time that danda comes. Sechaya. Sechaya means drench, shower, and totally make me drench. Enam Sechaya. Where is that enam? Next line, Santaptam bhavatapadavadahana jwalabhihi enam. Enam. Enam means to him. To him means whom? To me. To me, Sechaya. You drench me. Drench me? Who are you? Bhavatapa dava dahana jwalabhihi santaptam. First word is there, santaptam. Santaptam means one who is scorched. See, still the same metaphor is going on. I told you 2 verses he took for explaining or glorifying the Mahatmas, but the same metaphor is going on. What is the metaphor? That I am caught up in the forest fire and the winds of my papa is increasing that fire, and you please shower your nectarine shower I want. That is what is the metaphor going on, isn't it? That is the same metaphor is still going on. He says, Santaptam, one who is scorching, one who is, being burnt. By what? Jwala bhihi, by the fire, by the flames of fire rather. Jwala, jwala means flames. Dahana jwala, that flames of fire, which are how? Bhava, tapa, dava. Dava means forest. Dava, dahana means forest fire. Jwala means flames. So I am being scorched by the flames of the forest fire. What is that forest fire? Bhavatapa, the sorrows of the samsara. The sorrows of the samsara are like that flames of the forest fire. See the detailing of Shankaracharya. In the previous verse, he had compared samsara with forest fire, isn't it? Now he has added one more word of flames. So he has added one more word on this side also, sorrows of samsara. So if samsara is forest fire, then what are the flames of that forest fire? That is the sorrow, tapa. See that's called brilliance of Shankaracharya. Bhavatapa davadhana jwalabhihi santaptam enam, to me, sechaya, you please shower this nectar. Sechaya means drench me. With what? Now the first line, go from the end. Sechaya we have understood. Drench me. Vakyamritaihi sechaya. What is the nectar that the student wants the shower of? Vakya amrita. Amrita is nectar. Vakya means statements. Statements means what? Your words. Please shower me with your words. Means what? Please teach me. That's the point. I have come, I am surrendering unto you. Please teach me. Why? Because your words will act as the shower of nectar. Okay? Vakyamrita. And how are these statements? How is this? How are these words? Shruti sukhai, which are joy, sukha, of Shruti, of the Vedas. Means what? These statements are dipped in Vedas. Means what? Your words are what the scriptures are telling. The same thing you are telling me. It is not that the Guru is telling something on his own. No. Your teaching is dipped in this teaching of the Vedas, the Upanishads. Shruti sukhaihi vakyamritaihi sechaya. Okay. This is one adjective for vakyamrita. What is the second adjective? Yushmat vakkalasha ujjitaihi. Ujjitaihi means oozing out. Oozing out. That nectar is oozing out from where? From one kalasha. Kalasha means that pot. A pot. Don't you remember that they will show one lady with a sari, etc., and she will be doing like this, and that pot will be there, and something will be coming out of the. Remember? So many movies, etc. they use. So he is saying now, please drench me in the nectar of your words. And from where are these words coming? What is the kalasha? What is the patra? What is the vessel from which it is coming out, oozing out? Yushmat vak. Your lips, your your speech is like that pot. That vessel from which this Amrita Varshava is happening, from which this shower of nectar is happening. Yushmatva kalasha ujjitaihi. Which are how more Visheshanas are there. Full line is Visheshanas only, adjectives only. Sushitaihi yutaihi. Sushitaihi. Shita means cold. Sushitaihi means extremely cold. Yutaihi means joined with, endowed with extreme coolness. Why? Because remember, where am I? I am being burnt. So if you are going to put hot water on me, won't work. Shower should be of cold water. Sushitaihi yutaihi. Sometimes this some Pathabheda is also there. Sushitai sitaihi. Crystal clear knowledge. But better, I like Sushitaihi yutaihi. Endowed with this extreme coolness. So the nectar that is flowing, Vakyamrita, is how extremely cooling. Sushitaihi. And how not just cooling, not just nice for my outside body. No. Putaihi. Putaihi means that which is purifying. So this nectar that is falling on me is not just cooling down my body, but is also purifying my mind. Your words are going to do both these things. That my tapa, my sorrow of samsara will be removed and my mind will be purified. Putaihi. Now comes one more adjective. How are these words? This Vakyamrita, these nectarine words are how? Brahmananda rasa anubhuti kalitaihi, which are coming out, kalitaihi, from what? Anubhuti, from experience. Experience of what? Rasa. Rasa means essence. Essence of what? Brahmananda. The bliss of that Brahman. So the statements of the Guru are coming from his own personal experience of that Supreme Brahman. It is not that the information is being transferred to you. No. The Guru has walked the path, reached the goal and experiencing that Brahman and then teaching. Brahmananda rasanubhuti kalitaihi putaihi sushitairyutaihi yushmatva kalasha ujjitaihi shruti sukhaihi vakyamritai sechaya. See how beautiful. Some people, they don't understand poetry. So they will say, Swamiji, what is the point? The student is telling, oh Guru, please teach me. This is the point. But you see the way he is telling. See the way student is putting it in front of Guru. That itself will make Guru understand how good is the student and how desperately he wants the knowledge. See, in many times in life, what is to be done is important, but how it is to be done is also important. Many people are good in telling, no, what is to be done. No, but how it should be. You see how Shankaracharya is bringing this thought. Okay, so Brahmananda rasanubhuti kalitaihi putaihi sushitairyutaihi yushmatva kalashojjitaihi shruti sukhaihi vakyamritai sechaya. Whom should you drench? Santaptam bhavata padavadahana jwalabhi enam mam. To me, who is santaptam, who is scorching in this bhavata padavadahana jwalabhi, is scorching because of these flames of forest fire, which are like the sorrows of samsara. Please drench me. One sentence is over. Sechaya is verb, over. Then what? Then he says, Hey Prabhu, O Lord, O Guru, dhanyaha te. Te means those people. Dhanyaha. Dhanyaha means they are indeed blessed. Who? Bhavat ikshana kshanagatehe patrikritaha svikritaha. He says, those people are really blessed. Who are those people? Bhavat. Bhavat means yours. Ikshana. Ikshana is that side glance. Don't forget, he is still continuing that same metaphor. Atmiya. Kataksha drishtya. That same metaphor is there. He says, those people are indeed blessed who are patrikritaha, who have become receptible, eligible for what? Bhavat ikshana. Your side glance, kshanagatehe, even for a moment, if you have looked at them, then those people are indeed blessed. But why are they blessed? Svikritaha. Because they have accepted your grace. See, Shankaracharya, don't take him lightly. No word he will use which is of no relevance. The Guru every day is looking at hundreds of people. Those who understand the importance of that look. Patrikritaha, they are eligible. Svikritaha, they accept that glance also as a grace. Te dhanyaha, they are indeed blessed. So the student, first of all, he is telling that I am in a terrible state, please save me. How? Vakyamritahi, by your teaching, please save me. And then when he says that those people are indeed blessed, means what? Please look at me. May I also become in that category of blessed people. Te dhanyaha, dhanyaste bhavadikshana, kshanagatehe patrikritaha. Have become eligible to have your side glance even for a moment. Svikritaha, and those who have accepted it, they are indeed blessed. Okay. Very, very, very beautiful verse. What is the point? I am caught up in this forest fire, the flames of which are like the sorrows of samsara. I am being burnt. The problems in my life are increasing because of the wind. What is that wind? My own papa karmas. Already samsara is difficult. On top of that, my papas are only increasing the problems. What is the solution for that? The solution is the shower of nectar. Shower of nectar of your words. Your words which are dipped in the meaning of the Upanishads. Your words which are oozing out of that beautiful speech, that beautiful mouth of yours, which are extremely cooling and at the same time purifying, and which are not coming as just as information, but coming as your personal experience. Brahmananda rasa anubhuti kalite. May with those words you shower the nectar on me, by which I will get rid of this samsara and I will be saved. If you cannot do that, just look at me, have a side glance. Why? Because te dhanyaha, those are indeed blessed people who have become receptible for your side glance even for a moment and have accepted it as your grace. Oh Guru, please look at me. Okay. Now you are telling me that I should speak, isn't it? The student is telling the teacher, Vakyamritaihi sechaya, please drench me in the nectar of your words. Okay, what you want to know? Student says in the next verse, what I want to know, I will tell you. Next verse number 40. Please repeat. Katham tareyam bhava sindhumetam Kava gatirme katamostyupayah Jane na kinchit kripaya vamam prabho Samsara dukkha kshatimatanushva. Katham tareyam bhava sindhumetam Kava gatirme katamostyupayah Jane na kinchit kripaya vamam prabho Samsara dukkha kshatimatanushva. The last verse that the student is telling. What is he saying? Katham tareyam bhavasindhum etam. Etam, this. Bhavasindhum, ocean of samsara. Katham tareyam. How am I to cross over? How am I to cross over this ocean of samsara? Katham tareyam bhavasindhum etam. Kava gatirme. What should be my destination, gati, or what should be my path? What will be my condition? You can say gati can also mean all this. Kava gatirme katamaha asti upayah. Is there any solution for my condition? Can anything happen? How am I to cross over this ocean of samsara? What should be my destination? What will be my condition? Is there any way to come out of this? Jane na kinchit. Aham kinchit api na jane. I don't know anything. Kripaya, please, mam, ava means protect. Oh Guru, Prabho, oh Lord, oh Guru, Kripaya avamam, please protect me. How? Samsara dukkha kshatim atanushva. Atanushva, please bring about. Bring about what? Samsara dukkha kshatim. Kshatim means destruction. Please bring about destruction of dukkha, sorrow of samsara. Now we have been hearing this word samsara, samsara, samsara. What exactly is this samsara? So the word samsara itself means samyak sarati. Iti samsara. Samyak means well, sarati, it keeps changing. That is called as samsara. In other words, our continuous experience of the world which is in continuous state of flux, continuous change, this is what is called as samsara. Earlier also we had seen one point that there is one thing called as creation of God. That is called Jagat, the world that is created by God. On top of that, we have created our own world. What is this? This is watch created by God. But the moment I say this is my watch, now this becomes samsara. Because I have created myness into it. Now what? As long as it is only a watch, it will not give me sorrow. But the moment it becomes my watch, it will give me sorrow. Oh, no, Veji, what is this? It will give you joy for some time. Most of the times, it will give me sorrow. Where is my watch? Where is my watch? Where is somebody took my watch and my watch and my watch? No, how many years I have been using that watch and you don't know. And anything in the world that you associated with by saying that it is mine will create sorrow. This myness is called as samsara. Bhava, another word for samsara we have seen. Bhava also means becoming. Which keeps becoming means what? Which keeps changing. So in Vedanta, generally the world that keeps changing for us is called as samsara, which is the sorrow-giving factor in our life. Why? Because we want everything to be stable, but everything is changing. So that's why samsara dukkha kshatim is please bring about destruction of the sorrow of samsara. Okay, so that's what is the student asking. Okay, actually, if you see carefully, the word samsara came now in the text. Therefore, I am explaining the meaning of the samsara word now. Earlier, it came as bhava many times. So he is saying, how am I to cross over this ocean of samsara? Bhava sindhum etam katham tareyam. Kava gatirme, what will be my condition? Katamasti upaya, is there any way? Janena kinchit. See, everything is very important. Janena kinchit is also very important. If you go with an understanding that I know many things, I have studied Tattva Bodha, Atma Bodha, Vivek Chudamani, everything. Now teacher, if there is anything else, you tell me. And then you sit like this on a chair. What is the teacher going to tell? Let me listen. Okay, this is what I know. Sadhana Chaturshti, I can tell. Viveka Vairagya Samadhi Shat Sampati Moksha Shamadama Uparama. You want definition? I will give you a definition. If you go with the attitude that I already know so many things, no knowledge will happen. The moment you go with an attitude that I know nothing, and it is not just an attitude, it is the fact. We actually know nothing. Because you see, the most important thing to know in the whole life or in the whole world is our own nature. Do we know it? No. Which means we know nothing. The main thing which we must know, we have no knowledge about. All other things we have all knowledge about. What is the use? So it is not just a false attitude that I am carrying, that I know nothing. No, factual attitude that I know really nothing. Aham kinchit na jani. But, oh Guru, just because I don't know anything, please don't, dismiss me. Viditana maya vishadaika kala. Nacha kinchana kanchanam asti Guru. Dhrutameva videhi kripam sahajam bhavashankara deshika me sharanam. I know nothing. Viditana maya vishada eka kala. One good thing also, eka kala, one art, nothing I know. I don't even have money by which I can serve you. I have nothing with me. Oh Guru, dhrutameva videhi kripam sahajam. Your effortless grace, dhrutameva videhi. Please give me quickly. Bhavashankara deshika me sharanam. This is from Totakashtakam, last verse of Totakashtakam. written by Shankaracharya's direct disciple Totakacharya in praise of Shankaracharya. So this is what the student is feeling and now has put it in front of teacher. What I want destruction of samsara. Mumukshutva is there, you see. That's why he wants destruction of samsara. How I want that? By getting the knowledge. Okay, so please, I am no more interested in the problems of the world, nor do I want to discuss any of them. You tell me what is the solution. And thus, when the student surrenders and expresses oneself, what will be the teacher's reply? That we will see in the next session. So, now verse number 41 up to 47, first of course the author Shankaracharya comes and then the Guru speaks to the student and says, don't worry. You said no, katama asti upaya. Is there any way? I will tell you what asti upaya. Mahan kaschit. There is a way. So first he comforts. The Guru comforts the student. It's called as abhaya pradana. Abhaya means fearlessness. Pradana means giving. Giving fearlessness means what? Telling, don't worry. Whatever you are asking for, you will get it. Don't worry. So when the Guru tells this, then the student asks the questions. So we will see the questions in verse number 49 and the answer to these questions will be the rest of the text. Okay. We will see in the next session. The verses that we have seen today are very poetic and a lot of depth is there in them. So lots of Sanskrit words also I am aware, but it's the only way to explain. So please go through them again. Please see if every single word meaning is understood and then where what is to be connected, etc. is understood, right? That will be a very joyous exercise, I am sure. Right. We'll meet next session. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.